Such a nice day. I was just enjoying it as I drove into town. And then I said, you know what? It's so pretty out, and it's Memorial Day. I should probably do a driving video with the gang. I'm heading into town now. I'm going to go to the studio, charge some batteries, get everything ready. We're going to videotape the, whatchamacallit. Here, let me stop here and give you a, pardon me, I just belched. Here's a lovely shot of the seminary. One that you really only will see if you drive where I'm driving. It is a majestic looking building in its historical wonder. Okay. Good morning, Six Questions. Good morning, Dustin and Peter. Hello, guys. Happy Memorial Day to you. And as we say in the description, Memorial Day is a day for soldiers of the United States Armed Forces who lost their lives in service to their country, as opposed to Confederate soldiers who lost their lives trying to destroy the country. So let's be clear about that, and let's call it out when we see it online. Grant, hello. Six Questions says the Knights of Tep ceremony. No, and you know what? I'm so pissed at myself. I might ask Court if he can go and do it, because I double booked myself, and I have something going on tonight when that's going on, and I am really pissed that I did that. I didn't think, because I don't keep the schedule of everybody else's goings on in my head, you know, and I should have consulted with my secretary, but alas, I don't have one, so it was hard to do. No, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be there, but I'm going to see, like I said, if Court maybe can go with his camera and get it. Estella says, thank you. I love the Seminary Ridge Education Center. Happy Memorial Day, all. Happy Memorial Day to you, Estella. Yes, bit of a sad day. It is a bit of a sad day, Peter. It is it's you know, it's when I see revelers, it kind of drives me nuts. There are the Showers walking into their driveway after their morning walk. Every morning I see them out here walking. That's a good habit to get into. I wish I could do it. I think if I lived on this road, I would definitely get in the habit of a daily, sometimes twice daily walk. Ghost says, salute to all of those who gave the final measure for their country. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Jeff says, good morning, happy Memorial Day. And Grant says, so funny. So he finds our Memorial Day funny. Nice, Grant. Nice. Spoken like a true Australian. Peter says, I usually just stay home and hate the sales. Yeah, the Memorial Day sale. They should call it the done with school sale, you know? And it's like you have the back to school sale. This is the done with school sale. Why don't we ever celebrate being finished with school for the year and going into summer vacation? Now, if I were a stickler, I would tell the mom here that you and your children are going the wrong way. Well, they're actually going the right way here. But in order to get here, they had to go the wrong way. But I'm not going to say anything, because it's safer to go against traffic. I know this from 20 years of doing bike tours. We're out there every day with bikes, and it is safer to go against traffic in the park. Well, frankly, I think anywhere, but I want to see my death coming. I don't want to be surprised by it. Stella says, the Showers walk out to Lee's Monument and back. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Grant says, no, your joke. Are you doing the parade, sir? I don't remember. What joke did I have? Yes, we were going to do the parade. I'm not able to live stream it with the equipment that we use. I use like a real camera and microphones and stuff like that. So I'm gonna record it tomorrow when I get in the studio. I'll pop it in the editor real quick and put it up on the interwebs, the tube of you, if you will. Good morning, Paul. Ghost says, what do you expect from Grant? He's from the country that gave birth to Hitler. I think Dumb and Dumber limo science, but in reverse. I am completely and utterly confused by that entire statement, but yes, I agree. Jeff says, rush now to buy your mattress at 0% interest car, or 0% interest car. Hate that day has turned so cool. But every day that's important to people has turned into a commercial thing, you know. I saw somebody, there's a Instagram channel that's like a New Jersey Instagram account, whatever, channel account, whatever the hell it is, and it was taken from the point of view of somebody in the northbound lanes on the Garden State Parkway, and he was taking a picture of the parking lot that was the southbound lanes on the Garden State Parkway, laughing at all the people going down to the shore. And I find that funny too. I never understood that either. Like, okay, I get it, like everybody has off, right? You got a long weekend. But to me, I don't know. It just was never worth it going on Memorial Day, 4th of July, or Labor Day weekend to the beach. Because everybody's there. All you do is wait. And all you are is a member of a herd. And yeah, we got to go get something to eat. Got to wait 45 minutes. Want to get on the beach? Got to wait. Got to get to the beach area. 2.5 hour drive for which should be an hour. Grant says, can you please do what you did last year and have Bethany do the horse crap report? Yeah, that was Remembrance Day, but I'll have her do that if there's any horse crap. Tennessee Brigade says, love the driving. Thank you, Tennessee. Peter says, rest in peace, W.O. Wells Jr., First Sergeant, Barnhill, Lance Corporal, Tucker, 2005. Rest in peace indeed. Grant, it is a beautiful day. We're very lucky because it's been pretty shitty for the last couple weeks. Just rain, clouds, cold. It's only 63 degrees today. I think it's only supposed to get up to about 70, which is nice. It's nice. I'm not complaining about that. But it is, a lot of people have been walking around saying, God, it feels like November more than May, than late May at that. But, you know, this is how it goes. It's the weather, man, you know? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Can't do anything. This day has always been held in reverence by me. It was always about those who didn't make it back. My father survived the Korean War and always made sure to set the state aside to honor, not shopping. Yeah, we never really did anything for Memorial Day weekend. It was just, a weekend off. We would take it easy. It was never a go on vacation, certainly not go shopping, although I don't remember if they must have had Memorial Day sales back when I was a kid, but I don't remember it being as grotesque as it is now. I'd love to be able to take you all around the battlefield, but again, we have those cell service black holes down on the southern end of the battlefield, which is, of course, the most interesting part. We would love to see the progress of Lake Crawford. We would love to see Little Round Top and everything. Now it's possible to do a live stream from the top of Little Round Top, but you have to start it from the top of Little Round Top. Otherwise, yeah. I honor the same way. I stay home, spend no money, and listen to podcasts. Used to watch history when it was about history. Yeah, no longer is. Frank Lubbock says it's been getting into the hundreds here in West Texas. Does that happen to be where Lubbock, Texas is? Because that would be cool if you were named Lubbock and you lived in Lubbock. I would imagine a lot of things would be less confusing. Ghost says they did anyway to separate money from one's purse or wallet. Yeah, I bet they did. Ziggy says, hey, AG, I hope you have a great Memorial Day. Listening to you while you drive, man. You gotcha. Starlink. I've been thinking about that. Is it portable? Can I take it? I mean, I guess I could, couldn't I? Oh, that might actually be worth investing in, I think, huh? Can you head to the Peace Light? Seems kind of fitting for the day. You know what, Dustin? I will do that because you asked. Stella says, I saw a picture of someone posted of a deer enjoying a drink of water in Lake Crawford. Yeah, well, tons of it there. So smoke them if you got them. Oh, Frank says, yes, that's not my real name. Okay, good. Grant says it's been commercialized so much, like so many events have, or even like Gettysburg used to be back in the day. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it makes sense on some level. Maybe you got to think of it, zoom out a little bit and think of it and try to find some symbiosis. Like, for example, okay, if we have Memorial Day sales on Memorial Day weekend in Gettysburg, let's say, okay, discounted rates on a hotel room, probably not, but whatever, coupons for a restaurant or a store or something like that. That might entice people to come to Gettysburg. And while they're here, getting their discounted room or coupon or whatever, they're also spending money at places that don't have discounts. And even the places that have discounts are still making some money. And the tax base, does that. So maybe I could understand that stuff, right? And then you go, well, people should be touring these places anyway because they're, important places. I agree. However, I must point out the sad reality, and that is that the vast majority of the American public, and I would say the public of any country, don't give a flying F about their nation's history. They take it for granted. Those aren't people they've ever met, and so they can't imagine caring about them. Because most people lack empathy. Most people are just, focused on what they're doing in their little world, and they don't really care about the bigger picture. As long as they get theirs, they're okay. So there's that. So I guess you got to do things to entice people. They've got Monday off. A lot of people take Friday off. Or Tuesday, so they have a 4-day weekend, and you want their money. So I get it. but I think it's a shame. I understand it, I can rationalize it, but I think it's a shameful thing. But again, how can I expect people who don't think the way I do to behave the way I would behave or prefer them to behave or whatever? Because that's not the way the world works. So we're on Steinware Avenue. We just came, it's all the same stretch of road, but that was the Emmitsburg Road that we were just on. Now we're on Steinware, the mecca of Gettysburg tourism. This is where you've got your restaurants, your hotels, you've got some museums, you've got restaurants, you've got ice cream, restaurants. You got a lot of sorry, I just saw something that made me shake my head and laugh at the same time. You got a lot of things. What we'll do is we'll take the route to the Peace Light. We'll take it through town. I could have turned left here to go up Washington Street, straight out to it. But we're gonna go. We're gonna go through town, see what's going on in town. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Semper Fi says, thanks for the holiday stream, sir. You're welcome, sir. Max says, Lee was actually loyal to the Union. Of course, the March on Cemetery Ridge proves it. It actually makes perfect sense. He wanted to get back into the Union, is what you're saying? He should have gone with Pickett's men then. Yes. Peter says the small mobile unit was just on sale. Damn it. I don't care what other people do. I don't use the discounts on today. I'm not a good shopper. Let's put it like that. I don't collect coupons. I barely ever look to see what's on sale when I buy things. I just kind of use my shopping club card. I scan it and hope that I see a bunch of discounts appear. Sometimes I'm pleased. Most times I'm disappointed. And then they ask me if I want to donate to charity to round up. And I feel like I wish there was a way to comment. And it's like, I would donate to charity if your prices weren't so insane. Reed, happy Memorial Day to you. Estella says, so let me help change this subject. I need suggestions for some good war movies to watch. That's how I always spend my Memorial Day. Oh, okay. Well, of course, there's the basics, right? Band of Brothers, Shaving Ryan's Privates, things like that. Thin Red Line, it's another good one. You don't hear a lot of people talking about that one, but that's a good one. It's a little bit more, I don't know, artsy, but it's really good. What else? The Longest Day. Sands of Iwo Jima, Glory, of course. I mean, Gettysburg, but I'm sure you've seen that 1,000 times, so you don't need to watch that again when you watch it other times during the year. We got the anniversary coming up. That's when I watch it. Let's see. Let's see what other people are saying. Grant says, Grant, thank you for the Australian donation there. Super whatever the frick it's called. Grant says, Matt is a great driver. He's even going straight today. Here's your Memorial Day beverage of choice. Thank you very much, Grant. Thank you very kindly. When is I'm sure Australia has a Memorial Day. When is yours? You can see a lot of people walking around in uniform today as they prepare to march down the street and show everybody their uniforms. Kevin says, I like to listen to Voices of Veterans on PCN. That would be good. We're going north on Carlisle Street. Peter says, have you been to the Loma Center in Gettysburg? You know, it's funny, Peter. A friend of mine was in town yesterday. He texted me. He goes, hey, where's the place you're talking about that's got the collection and it's behind the Farnsworth House? Oh, the Loma Center. So I told him where to go, and he went there and sent a picture of the #1 tube that is there. And yeah, yes, I have. Wait, what was the question? Have I ever been? Yes, I have. I have. If you go back early on to like 2000, let's think here. 2020, perhaps 21. We did a few videos with the Loma Center. We had their director come in and talk about some pieces that they had over there. Those are on YouTube, I believe. They're definitely on Patreon, but you got to go way back for them. If you just search Loma Center on Patreon, you'll see. Grant says, Estella, as a fellow AG champion, I recommend A Bridge Too Far. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Classic large-scale movie. Ghost says, Estella, Kingdom of Heaven, extended cut, Troy, and The Patriot, and I love The Thin Red Line. Peter says, old school 1950s Red Badge of Courage. Stella says, Peter, I love the Loma Center. Never heard of that movie. And let's see, Paul says, The Big Red One. There you go. Peter says, The Lion of the Desert. I don't know if, I've never seen that one. Ziggy says, oh yes, not only am I a terrible shopper, I'm also a fast shopper. Make a mental list, in and out. If it's on sale, great. If not, oh well. Exactly, that's exactly how I am. I know what I need, I know what I want, I go in, I get it, bing, pow, Bob's your uncle, and I am out. This is why I like to shop alone. This is why I like no female companionship when I go shopping, because I don't want it to turn into an afternoon. Okay? It's boom, 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 boom. Go, go, go. Get it, go. Gone. Done. We're gone. Rick H. says, not a fan of The Thin Red Line. I'm wanting to watch the 1951 Red Badge of Courage. So The Thin Red Line is, when I first saw it in the theater, it was, when did that come out? It was not too long after Private Ryan, if I recall. And it was a little too, is esoteric the word I'm looking for? No, maybe? I don't know. It was a little too highfalutin for me with all the voiceovers and the disjointed cuts or cutaways. And, you know, I was like, well, what the hell are you doing? But then I watched it again a few years ago, and I was like, all right, I get it now. But I just skipped that stuff. I just get to the battles. Yeah, like Peter says, it has to grow on you. Rick H. need to watch it on 4K with surround sound to get the full experience. It's a bit ponderous, but visually stunning. It is well shot, and it is a bit ponderous, but it is good. it's a good, let's put it like this, it's a good film. I don't really know, even that, like, it's weird. I don't consider it a war movie, even though it's very much a war movie. It's all the non-combat, non-military stuff that takes me out of it being a war movie, and then I just think of it as a good film. It's a good drama that happens to take place in a war. Kevin says, watching any Civil War movie is appropriate today because Memorial Day started as a result of that war. There you go. There you go. Grant says, visually, movies don't get much better than The Thin Red Line. That is true. That is true. Thank you, Matt Gillespie, for the super chat. He says, drive carefully. I'll try. I'll try. Dogface Limo Center is great. Staff is a lot of fun. Peter says, Generation Kill is a series. It's great. Oh, yeah. Grant says, that's the director's style. He shoots a bunch of stuff, not really have a screenplay, and then edit it together later with voiceovers. Same as the New World movie. Now, Terrence Malick, right? That is. I like that style. But a war movie, I just want to be a little bit more action, less pondering. And I think it's great that he's able to get away with that. Like, he can get, producers and investors and stuff to put up the money for it. So, yeah, well, I just kind of shoot and then I figured out later and everything. Yeah, that's the lazy way of filmmaking, and that's my way. And I wish I could get a backing for that. you know? Gory GRF says, it's insane that this is a park. Pretty cool that they didn't just build homes on top of this. Well, they've taken down a lot of what doesn't belong here. Over the years, there have been, straight up ahead of us, there was a motel. There were gas stations, motels, private homes, restaurants, all different things all along the major roads leading into Gettysburg on what is now national park property, a battlefield. So, we weren't always good around here at protecting it. Not that it's not fair to say it that way. Some of those properties were in private hands when the battle took place. And the government, just because there's a battle, the government doesn't just come and say, we are now confiscating all the land where the battle was fought. That doesn't work like that. They have to buy it or in other ways steal it from the private citizens. And they've done both over the years, or make shady deals with the locals and give away a chunk of the battlefield so they could build schools. There's all kinds of ways to do things. So there's some things on battlefield that I think, regardless of their purpose, should not be on the battlefield, like the schools. But on the other hand, we've gotten rid of a lot of other things, like the motels, the Stuckies. There's a lot of stuff that's been around. Anyway, here's the peace light. This was a request from our buddy Dustin, so I'm gonna shut up as we go past here for him. Right, and then let's see if we can get a little bit of the first day without, it's kind of hard. Well, we'll get a little bit there. Yes, Dane, this is Normandy. Matthew says, a great drama war movie is Stalag 17, made back in the 1950s. All right, let me just change. I got to get my rear view mirror looking right way again. Okay. How can anyone forget the bathroom at the Loma Center is a must-see. It's a fancy way to pee. I've never been to their bathroom. I'll have to go check it out now. Peter Zach, correct. It's the class of 100% great truth. Cat says this is a cool drive. Thank you. You're welcome, Cat. Thank you. Ghost Sickles Leg says 2104 dog. Nothing can compare to the restrooms in Japan. They sound actually cool here. Hacksaw Ridge is another great movie. Yes, Rick Gage, very good. Okay, so now what we're going to do, since it is Memorial Day, we're going to do a little extra mileage on our route here. Of course, this whole drive and just about everything we do is supported by our patrons over at patreon.com/addressing Gettysburg. Your large tax-deductible donations to dhpioneers.com or your generous super chats right here on YouTube. So we're going to go through Howard Avenue, which is the 11th Corps line. We'll take that over to the Old Harrisburg Road, and then we will take that through zigzaggy means out to East Cavalry Field, and then we will loop back through Culp's Hill and wind up at Bantam Roasters, where I will get my coffee. Oh gee, I hope I have enough time to do that. Well, let's see. We're winging it today, folks. There might not be a parade video. If I think, well, we'll be able to pull it off. We'll get it. We'll get it. Anyway, here we go. Peter says, did anyone ever really explain why they loaded the Whitworth from the muzzle rather than the breech? I heard that it was easier. It was something to do with the fouling, or I don't remember. Oh, no, it was, shit. We actually went out there and somebody was telling us about it. And it was, I think it was the screw on the back. Someone in here has to know this. Where's 6 questions when you need them? Hey, Hanan, how are you? Of course, Hanan. How could I forget you? I have been well. I hope you've been well as well. How are things over there in Pakistan? You guys have been having some fun with India lately, haven't you? The Four Feathers remake was a good watch. Oh, you know, another great one I think you should watch is Son of the Morning Star. It's on. You can only find it on YouTube. It's like VHS quality because somebody taped it from TV or something. I think Lionheart Films has it on their channel, but it's still good. I think it's a very good depiction of the Battle of Little Bighorn and the story behind it leading up to it, because nothing happens in a vacuum. So it's really good. And if you're a Gary Cole fan, this is really where you get to see Gary shine, you know. Last night, I fell asleep in my recliner, and I was suddenly and violently jolted to consciousness because I bit my tongue on the side of my tongue. I bit it in my sleep, and I chomped down on that thing, and it hurt, and it's still sore today. That was stupid. Oh, Rough Riders. That's a good one too, Paul. Good old Tom. I think that's like That and Sergeant What's-His-Face in Platoon, I think, are Tom Berenger's best roles. Reed says, come and see. You know, I saw a little bit of that, and I'm not sure I want to see the rest of it. And what I've read about it, it's very realistic and horrendous. But, you know, it's probably really close to what it really was. It's just, ugh, I don't know. Getting a little soft in my old age. Hate to see bad things happen to people. Unless they're bad people. Hanan says, so Matt, what's new with you? Oh, geez, Hanan. What's new? Well, let's see. Now spring has come. We're discovering all of the things that have gone wrong or that with our home that we bought last fall. And now neither one of us wants to be a homeowner. But we're going to go through with it. Anyway, we're going to fix it up because that's what adults do. You make your bed, you lie in it, you know? And so we're going to do that. And then immediately sell it and go back to renting. And then, what else? Just, you know, got some things brewing in the background for the show. And, you know, just trying to keep it going. Trying to keep it going, trying to keep it growing and start it growing. And wait, did I say growing twice? I meant going and growing and yeah, all that crap. Thank you for the congratulations on the home. We do like the home. It's just we don't like that we have to spend so much money so quickly. Rough Riders is very underrated. A lot of people involved with it were from the movie Gettysburg. Yep, it was. And yeah, somebody mentioned that that era when TNT was doing a lot of histories, mainly Civil War movies, and that was good. Yeah, what was it? The Hunley Ironclads was another one, I think. I don't know. I can't see what the person said, but they were cool. Oh, Andersonville, that was another one. Homeownership comes with joy and lots of work. Yeah, the joy was short-lived. I'm hoping maybe the joy comes back at some point, but we'll see. We'll see. 1917, that was a good one too. It was tough with all the deaths, but All Quiet on the Western Front, the remake, that was more horrendous. That was harder for me to take. That was very gritty and real and well done. That one to me kind of raised the bar on Private Ryan, if I'm being honest. Hanan says, man, life has been super hectic for me. Moved to a new city, shifted from dental school to med school. Very nice. And really started focusing on my health now. Had a few asthma attacks. Good for you though. That sounds great. Why did you switch from dental to medical? Cardinal in West Virginia says, hi, I just came across your channel. Well, welcome to you. Ghost says, it took me about 10 years before I really spent money on my crib. It's a 100-year-old bungalow. Peter says, my friend who was in the movie Gettysburg just shared a bunch of photos of the filming. And then Ghost says, Hanan, keep going forward. That's right. Keep going forward. Onward and upward. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. Stretch it out. Oh, God. All right, so we're turning left on, for those of you who care, this is the York Road, also known as Route 30 or the Lincoln Highway. You can also get to Hershey this way eventually, so it could be called the Hershey Highway. But either way, it's going to take us to East Cavalry Field. Sorry, sometimes I make myself laugh. Ghost says he saw that joke a mile away. Well, that's because you and I would probably have made the same joke. So we're of the same sensibilities there. He says, well, my mom's a doctor, and she wanted me to be a real doctor, not a dentist. That's funny. I still respect dentists and think they're real doctors, though. Just doctors of dental medicine, plus opportunities in medicine. You know, I agree with you. I'm impressed with my dentist. I don't know why people don't think dentists aren't real doctors. Like, yeah, can they deliver a baby or I don't know, do open heart surgery? No, but most doctors can't do open heart surgery. Rick H. did not like the Hershey Highway joke. He sent us a lovely groan. Cardinal in West Virginia said, I lived in Emmitsburg back in the day and drove to Lancaster every day for college. Wow, that's a drive, man. Hoofa. Oh, for college, though. But that, you can do anything when you're that age. And on top of having bit my tongue last night, the pollen is really high and aggravating my tongue and throat. And now I got to go speak for the commentary of the parade, which will be just wonderful. I say it will be just wonderful. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear over the Harleys. All right, now there's a point up here where there's a short moment of losing service. And if that happens, I'll see the number drop by half of viewers, because that, for some reason, does that. But it only lasts a second. We usually come back with no problem. It's not as bad of a service drop as down on the southern end of the battlefield. But we're on Cavalry Field Road. And this will take us right into East Cavalry. Anon says, dentists don't study the entire body, only the head and neck region. Hence why a lot of doctors think they aren't qualified enough to be called doctors. But that's not what... And okay, first of all, doctors don't study everything either. And I know this because go dig into hormones, hormone optimization, okay? Go dig into that, and then go to your doctor and ask them what they know about it. And I bet you the answer is going to be, well, not much, except it causes cancer. And then you go to somebody who's actually been educated and studied that specifically, you find out, no, that is hogwash based on one case in 1951, and it was misread, and so on and so forth. And so anyway, yes, I would just say that's silly. Dentists are doctors too. They're just specialists. Is an ENT not a doctor? Or do they study the whole body? They study the feet and everything else, but they also study the ear, nose, and throat, and we can call them doctors. They're doctors. You hear the stunt pilot practicing? This guy is out here all the time, and it scares the hell out of me when I hear the engines cut. But he knows what he's doing. Where is he? Maybe I can show him to you. I think he's behind me. Hanan says, you're right on the money. Dentists are just specialists like podiatrists. That's what I'm saying. It's just a different part of the body. I don't know why it's treated any differently. They, when you do certain procedures, they'll give you antibiotics. They can prescribe medication for you. They administer medication. They can put you under. And, like, you need medical training for that. Do you not? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like, can you just watch a YouTube video and then put somebody under? I don't think so. I'm sure there are YouTube channels like that, but... Steven says, remembering Silas Coster of Company B of the 2nd Wisconsin today. Thank you to all veterans. And Van Cornish, I haven't seen you in forever. Says, looks like a lovely day in Gettysburg. It does. You might remember this plaque here for Jenkins Brigade was bent for like the longest time. It's finally been fixed and replaced. Your tax dollars at work. It takes them a while sometimes to work, but eventually they will work for you. Hanan says, however, people's ignorance and perception of dentists usually leads to people believe dentists aren't as qualified. However, as a medical student, we have to deal with a lot more stressful medicine. So what are you going in to be, like a general practitioner, or are you going into something special? What's your, what's the dilly? What's the deal? Oh, there's the stunt guy. Let's see. I don't know if you can really make him out. I can't see very clearly. He's just hovering. Oh my God, that's so cool. I can't see because my stupid reflection. I'm just gonna hold it up and hope you guys can see him. Oh man. This guy's got balls of iron. Well, I can't tell if you can see him. I hope you saw something there. And my phone unplugged. Did I lose audio when that happened? Jesus Christ. He's doing like somersaults. Now he's just hanging there. Oh my God. That's so cool. Sorry, I'm obsessed. Yeah, Hanan, you should do plastic surgery. Make a ton of money. Peter says that's one thing they have to fix with the phones is the glare. Yeah. Hanan says, Ghost, I'm thinking more so emergency plastic surgery like skin grafts for burns, not so much the cosmetic side. You want to help people, Hanan. That's honorable. But, you know, becoming rich will help your wife and children. So you're helping people if you did plastic surgery and made $1 billion. Just say, just think about it. I'd like to see somebody get rich. To the right is the Michigan Brigade Monument. This is Custer Avenue. This is one of those old avenues that's just grass now. There's a sign. Actually you can see. Let me just back up here real quick. There's a sign right there. Okay, I'm going to move my finger. It'll come into focus. That says Custer Avenue. And those signs are only on roads. Now, when they got rid of the road and they obliterated the road and just turned it back to grass, they left the sign. And you can kind of see, if you look here, you can see the gutter, right? And it's on this side too. And this part right here is the roadbed, and it went around the monument and out. But now it, here, let me hold it a little longer so you can see what I'm talking about, if you couldn't see that. Okay. Let's see if we can watch because he's over here now, he's following me. All right, now he's right in front of that little white cloud, the top white cloud. And now he's coming out of it. I don't know if you can see him moving or shining, but let me see if I can. He's just hovering there now. Now he's pointing down. He's coming down. He's kind of fluttering down like a piece of paper. And now he's straightening out and just doing a nosedive. I think he's upside down. No. Where is he? I don't know. Fascinating. And I believe he is preparing for the air show in Harrisburg. I saw something with him the other day. Probably good if you guys were just learn something new. I could use good tummy tuck. Yeah, Hanan, become a plastic surgeon, because I think a lot of us would employ you to help with things like tummies and chins. I almost wish that addressing Gettysburg was a little more popular, because then I would go to the local plastic surgeon out in Chambersburg and be like, hey, listen, I have millions of views. Help me out here. Make me look like halfway decent, please. And I'll advertise the hell out of you. Look at the miracle this guy could do. I look like a human being finally. And people are like, I have to go to Dr. Shmuley. And then everybody's like, oh, Dr. And Dr. Shmuley's like, thank you so much, Matt. But we don't have that kind of audience. So I don't have that pull. Go to Dr. Shmuley now and get 50% off your tummy tuck, That'd be awesome. Maybe someday, but I doubt it. A lot of cyclists out today. It's like they're, it's all right, guys. You're all right there. Thank you. Would have done okay if that one lady wasn't off to the side when everybody else, it's like, come on. Working on themselves. Look, let's be honest, okay? We're poisoned by the American diet. None of us have energies. We all have these, what are they called? Endocrine disruptors in our system, and nobody can move anymore. Honestly, I've started researching the food you guys have. I'm surprised you guys are still breathing. Yeah, thank you, Hanan. As Sickle says, RFK Jr. will help change attitudes and diets. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to help change enough, or maybe all the attitudes, because just people won't listen to him now simply because he's reached, worked across the aisle, I guess. But, Hanan, I agree with you. Like, I've been kind of reading about our food and our water and everything. And it is amazing that we're not all dead yet, but we're not healthy by any means. And it's just the thing that's frustrating about it is it's our own government that allowed it to happen, because they got paid off by these companies that wanted to push this shit. And everybody, the government's all, war on drugs. Well, how about the war on the people that are paying you? It's all bad. It's all bad. And even when you try to do something healthy, you find out, there's still this in it and there's still that in it, and you almost don't want to eat anything. And it's sad, but it is a wonder that we're all alive, because I don't understand how we do it. And the clean eating people, I wish I could be successful with that. I try very hard, and most of the time I do, but it doesn't do anything for me. I wonder how clean their clean eating really is. Because even stuff that's labeled organic, you find out, it's just kind of like a marketing thing, because there's still things they use that, is okay. And I don't know. It's sad. Oh, that's the other good point Ghost has, is they make clean eating too expensive. Yeah, it's cheap to eat shit, and it's expensive to eat healthy stuff. But here's the thing that they don't tell you. Well, this is the way it worked for me when I really got strict about it a couple of years ago. And then, of course, I lapsed. But when you're eating clean, it actually isn't much more expensive, because you don't eat as much. When you eat junk, you eat a lot more, because you're not getting nutrients into your body. But when you're eating nutritious food and your body is satiated and taking care of itself and working right, you don't need to eat as much. So there are people, I know people that are healthy, and they eat 1, maybe 2 meals a day, and they're completely fine, and they got tons of energy. And it's because they eat well. And so it is cheaper, because you're not eating as much. The only problem is a lot of the stuff you eat is perishable, so you got to eat it quickly. But again, you don't need as much and as often, because you're eating healthy. So it is more expensive, but in the end, it kind of comes out in the wash. Or that was my experience with it, at least. In some ways, it actually kind of felt cheaper, because you also don't want to eat as much in a meal. I remember I would take a salad plate, not a full dinner plate, and I would put my meal on that, and it would be, meat, vegetable. That pretty much was it, meat and vegetable. And at first, when I was first starting, used to consuming a lot, but then as the diet started working, I didn't need to fill the plate as much, because I couldn't finish the plate, and it was a salad plate. And this is a guy who would have, take a dinner plate and fill it, and then go back for seconds and fill it again. To go from that to not being able to finish a dinner plate without having any kind of surgery or any kind of stapling or anything like that, just from, at first some really tough discipline and a lot of teeth grinding for a week or two. But once you get out of that first 2-week tough spot, it becomes a lot easier, and then you just start to learn to listen to your body, and then things suddenly work right. And and then it becomes cheaper, because you don't consume as much. I shouldn't say cheaper than eating shit, but it isn't as expensive as you think it is. At first it might be. Let's see here. Ziggy says, there's a peace of mind thing when I'm eating from my garden, and the taste, that's the other thing. And I say this all the time when we have Reza on the show about the farmer's market. It wasn't until I got fruits and vegetables from the farmer's market that I realized what it's supposed to taste like. And the other thing I realized was that the people who do artificial flavors, that created these artificial flavors way back when, I never understood. I was like, artificial strawberry doesn't taste anything like strawberry until I had a real strawberry. That's that luscious, deep, beautiful red all the way through, not just on the outside. And when you take a bite, it explodes with flavor and it tastes like artificial strawberry, which means they did a really good job approximating what a damn strawberry tastes like when they made these artificial flavors. All of them, peach too. There's nothing better on a freaking hot day than biting into a juicy peach and having peach juice everywhere. It's so sweet and so good. I love it. It's great. And it's a shame that we have winter, because then that's where you fall back into eating shit. And it's this constant cycle because you can't get the good stuff in winter. It's good to see you exercising, taking care of yourself.
Yeah, we're trying to. We're dressing Gettysburg a different way.
There you go.
Just popped up. You remember Megan, Matt?
Yeah, Megan. Hi. How are you?
So, the 3-year anniversary popped up of us hanging out together. Just
when you were on the show about your grandfather. Yeah.
Look at I was flexing muscles in that one picture that I saved.
I photoshopped it.
Oh, cool, man. See you, bro.
See you later. That was the great Matt Sheeds, walking around with his girlfriend Megan. Matt was on the show years ago to talk about his grandfather, Colonel Sheeds, who is like a legend among the guides. Ziggy says, I eat about once a day, sometimes twice. I'm a slender type. Luckily, I don't have a taste for candy, pies, cakes, etc., but I made up for that in beer. Yeah, everybody's got a weakness. Yeah, I don't really have a sweet tooth either. If I ever do, like a scoop of peanut butter is enough to satiate it. If we have them around, a date is very good for that, or cherry, or some fruit or whatever. It usually is enough to do the job. And when I have something with refined sugar, it tastes terrible. Once you cut out sugar and you go back to it, you realize just how disgusting it is. We have so much of it in everything. Sometimes I wish, and the thing is, I'd have to win the lottery for this because I don't know what I would do for a living. But sometimes I wish I lived somewhere remote where you can't just go down and get a pizza. You can't go and get, I kind of need all those things taken away from me, the opportunity to eat them to take away from me. And then all I have are good options, And like Cindy's daughter's, back from college, so she's home with us again. And, the kid eats junk food like you wouldn't believe. Like, she loves these spicy Dorito things that are like super duper hot and burn your tongue. And she loves them. And she'll like bring a bag into her room and sit there and snack while she's on the phone with her friends till 2 a.m. or whatever. I'm like, how do you do that? How do you do that? It's so gross. But like, that stuff is around, and I just, what's one gonna do? Just because I want something crunchy, because sometimes I just crave something crunchy, so I'll have like 2 or 3 of those. Yeah, but I don't like, and then I feel terrible afterwards. I feel like I'm killing myself. Gus said, I grew up on a working farm that fed us as a family. Oh, you're lucky. We had chickens and rabbits, 2 ponds for fish, and great natural fed beef and swine. Same with the fruits and veggies. Oh, I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. Another life, maybe. Ghost says, but I can't wait to turn to Gettysburg and gorge at the barn. Ooh, yes. That is a fine buffet. Hanan says, I recently read a study. In World War I, the average American was 5'10", 5'11", with a better diet than Europeans, as organic farm-grown food was plentiful. The average European was 5'4". Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and you just compare, well, obviously Americans to Americans. They were more active. There was a time when, like President Kennedy, it was all about, fitness and all that stuff. And then somehow we got away from that. And then we have vending machines with sugary treats in school. And we have shitty food in the cafeteria with very little to no healthy options. And then what? Like several years ago, I remember when Michelle Obama was first lady, she wanted to get kids eating better at schools, and people were like, "Go F yourself, Michelle." And like, well, what's wrong with that? Why wouldn't you want people to eat healthier? And that's why I don't understand why people are against RFK's efforts now to fix all the poisons that are going into our food. I understand it. I know why it is, and it's stupid. But we're very unhealthy, but we have to do something about that. An unhealthy country is a weak country, and you don't, to drive around here on Memorial Day of all days and think about the strength of character and of body that it took for all of our generations of veterans to be willing to fight for whatever the country asked them to do, and to think of the soft doughboys that we've become. And I don't mean doughboys in the sense of British. I mean doughboys, like doughy, like the Pillsbury doughboy. Someone was telling me the other day that they were really busy yesterday at work, and they were overwhelmed, and it was like an all hands on deck thing, and people were doing jobs that weren't technically their jobs, but it needed to be done because they were very busy. And so this person was telling me the story, was teamed up with an 18-year-old boy, and they had to do a simple task of, I think it was like entering orders into the system, right? Like, so they'd write them down first, and then they'd enter them into the system. And like when they were done, he goes, "That was intense. I am exhausted." And she's like, "What?" Like, what is wrong with you? That was intense, and you're exhausted now. It took us 15 minutes, and all I did was read to you what to put into the computer, and you did. That was intense. But that's where we are. He's not an anomaly, unfortunately. And I say that because this person works with a whole bunch of people who are that age. Dutch people before World War II were shorter. Improvements in education, diet, and health post-World War II made them the tallest and healthiest in the world. There you go. There you go. Hanan says, meanwhile, Americans dropped to 5'9", mainly due to immigration. Thanks. But health concerns started arising. And Ghost says, and I do love Chester's cheese puffs. That's my one voice. Chester the cheetah. Jeff says, last time I ate at Gettysburg, I had food poisoning. I got that once. The tipping point was the 80s. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It all started getting worse after that. That was like we had 8 years where people were like, yeah, we're Americans. And then it was like slowly turning into what we are now. Only takes a couple generations. But the thing is, like, all those bad things we're talking about weren't the fault of the generations who embody them. It's the fault of the generations who taught and raised them. And those generations knew better, or should have known better. They knew better, but they went and did it anyway. And they thought they were convinced that they were doing good things for them, but they had to know deep in their hearts they weren't. Because it was the opposite of the way they were raised, and they were raised stronger and healthier. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, you can't blame the kids for being the monsters that their parents created. Van says, reminds me of the number of people you could fit in Ford's theater just because people were just smaller back then. Well, yeah, do you ever go to like one of those old theaters, and like the Majestic Theater here? I forget when it was built, 20s or 30s, I think. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But it was built at a time when obviously people were much smaller, because you go to sit in those, I can't sit in those chairs. They're incredibly small. There's no leg room. My back is screaming by the end of the day. That's the other thing. Our posture sucks now. We're it's shameful. And I include myself in that shame. I'm ashamed that I allowed it to happen to me, and I didn't listen to the people who knew better. I went with what was easier and what everybody else was doing. If all my friends were going to the gym, I would have gone to the gym. But all my friends were not going to the gym, and I didn't go to the gym. Not that I'm a follower, but in that case I was, because it's just easier. And you don't want to miss out. You know, FOMO is a very strong thing. So everybody's going to the bar, and you're going to the gym. Like, who wants that, you know? All right, let's see. Let me get through here. Okay, I think we've beaten that to death. Better than being a zombie today. A decade of sniffing. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go because we've got to get ready for the parade. So you guys take care. Have a great rest of your Memorial Day. The parade video hopefully will come out tomorrow. And accept no imitations. Okay? Accept no imitations. You have a good one.